Welcome back to the deep dive. So if you're a parent right now, you definitely know the feeling. The landscape of parenting advice is, well, it's less of a cohesive guide and more of a swirling vortex.
It really is. You hear about gentle parenting, attachment parenting, conscious parenting.
Right, and it feels almost impossible to figure out what actually works and what's just the flavor of the month.
And that's exactly why we're doing this. Our mission today is, well, it's crystal clear. We want to distill the foundational science, the hard research on things like attachment theory and authoritative structure,
Okay.
and then integrate that with the best nuggets from modern movements like RIE and emotion coaching.
So you can have a roadmap that's actually backed by data, not just anecdotes.
Exactly. You deserve that clarity.
Okay, let's unpack this. I think we should start with what seems like a simple but pretty profound idea, the power of early respect. This is really the bedrock of RIE, right? Respectful infant educare.
It is. And while RA originally focused on the first couple years of life, its philosophy is all about building that foundational relationship.
By treating the infant as an important whole person.
Yes, even before they can talk back to you. It's a real paradigm shift.
In what way?
Well, instead of seeing the infant as this passive object you have to entertain or manage, RI encourages us to just observe, to wait.
So an example would be, like, instead of immediately repositioning a squirming baby.
You wait for them to finish their movement. You see what they're trying to do. Proponents believe this teaches them about their own competence, their own bodily autonomy, right from day one.
And what's fascinating is the benefit this gives the parent. We always focus on the child, but the sources point out this framework gives the parent permission to step back.
Yes, that's huge. You're released from that compulsion to constantly entertain, to stimulate, to rush in and solve every single minor frustration.
That feeling of needing to fill all the space it's exhausting.
Totally exhausting. This approach, it provides parents a mental health break. It allows them to connect with themselves as human beings again, not just.
Perpetual entertainment coordinators.
Exactly. It shifts the burden from the parent back to the child's natural desire to learn and explore.
And that idea of connection, rather than coercion, that brings us right to the core psychological foundation here, which is attachment theory.
Pioneered by John Bowlby, yeah. And at the heart of it, the whole goal is the pursuit of felt security.
Felt security. What is that exactly?
It's the absolute goal of the attachment system. It's that feeling the child has that they're safe, that they're understood, and that they are reliably supported by their primary caregiver.
And crucially, this isn't about being physically attached all the time.
Not at all. It's about having a cognitive and emotional assurance that the caregiver is there if they're needed.
So if a child has that felt security, what does it let them do?
It gives them what Bowlby called a secure base. If the child knows their lifeline is reliable,
They're free to go explore.
they're free to confidently explore the world, to take risks, and to learn. Their attachment system only really activates during genuine stress like hunger, fear, a new place to get them close to the caregiver again.
But once that stressor is gone,
They pivot right back to exploration. Without that secure base, the child spends all their energy just monitoring the parent, and that drains their capacity for learning.
okay, so if establishing security needs high responsiveness, the next step seems a bit counterintuitive. You'd think that if you respond too quickly, you'll create a clingy child.
That is the common misconception, yeah. But what we find is that high responsiveness actually accelerates self-reliance.
How so?
If a child knows their needs will be met, they don't have to panic or amplify their behavior to get your attention. They can turn their focus outward.
And when we look at how kids learn, particularly self-directed learning, the sources all stress the need for space.
Absolutely. Children learn best when they have the time and space to digest and integrate experiences without constant parental direction. If we're always jumping in to fill in the space,
Directing their play, telling them what to focus on.
or immediately solving minor struggles, we risk breeding an over-reliance on external authority.
Which I imagine doesn't just disappear when they turn 6.
No, the implications are profound. That early habit of always giving it to them or solving problems for the child, it often surfaces later.
Right.
We see it as struggles with executive function in adolescence. Young adults who struggle with decision-making, who can't manage complex paperwork like college applications, or who just wait for someone else to direct their career choices.
So you have to give them permission to figure things out a bit, to struggle just a little.
A little bit, yes. You build confidence and competency through that mild struggle.
And when we do step in to provide structure, the demandingness part of the equation. Consistency has to be key.
It is the engine of internalization. A consistent application of rules and consequences provides a stable, predictable framework.
And that predictability reduces anxiety.
It does. It helps them internalize those expectations as their own rules, not just external demands. If the rules are always shifting, the child just learns to push.
Or they learn that whining works half the time, which is even worse.
And the most powerful form of instruction here isn't verbal at all. It's modeled behavior.
Show them, don't just tell them.
Exactly. Parents have to consistently model the positive, healthy behaviors they want to see if you want your child to manage frustration.
You have to manage your own frustration when the Wi-Fi cuts out.
Right. Lecturing about manners while you're losing your temper just achieves nothing.
There's a really crucial distinction here when we talk about control because the research is so clear. Not all control is created equal.
This is critical.
Yeah.
We have to distinguish behavioral control, which is setting clear, firm rules for safety and social development, from psychological control.
And psychological control is what exactly?
It's damaging. It involves using tactics like guilt, shaming, conditional regard, or love withdrawal to manage behavior.
And what do the sources tell us about the long-term impact of that?
Oh, the research is consistent. Psychological control is linked to negative outcomes across cultures. Lower self-esteem, higher anxiety and depression, increased conflict.
Whereas behavioral control, when it's delivered with warmth and explanation.
That's the scaffolding children need to thrive. Psychological control is, well, it's emotional warfare.
This is where that warmth and responsiveness comes back in, which leads us to what is arguably the most empirically supported technique in this entire deep dive. Emotion coaching. EC.
This is the core mechanism for building emotional resilience.
So what is it?
Emotion coaching is an evidence-based approach developed by Dr. John Gottman. Fundamentally, it requires parents to be highly aware and, importantly, accepting of their children's negative emotions.
Not just the happy ones.
Right. And then assist them in constructively dealing with those feelings of anger or sadness or frustration.
And the opposite of this would be emotion dismissing or minimizing.
Correct. When parents minimize a child's negative emotions, saying things like, stop crying, it's not a big deal, the research links that response to significantly negative child outcomes.
Such as?
Increased aggression and kind of surprisingly problematic emotional overeating later in life.
Wow. So conversely, what does EC provide?
The benefits are impressive. Kids whose parents use EC show improve self-regulation in behavior, emotion, and attention. They have increased emotional knowledge, greater empathy, better friendships.
And you mentioned it acts as a buffer.
Yes, this is the most profound finding. It acts as a source of resilience. It literally protects youth from developing internalizing symptoms like depression and anxiety, even when they're exposed to high family stress or domestic violence. It builds armor.
And that protective factor isn't just psychological, is it? The sources suggest it's neurological.
It is. The body's entire stress regulation system is at play here. The hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, or HPA axis.
The body's central stress response factory.
A good way to put it. And social factors like parental responsiveness influence how that system gets wired. Consistent emotion coaching seems to help calibrate that stress response, making the child's neurological system less reactive overall.
Okay, that's clear. But what about in the heat of a meltdown? Because when a kid is fully dysregulated, their prefrontal cortex is offline. Logic is gone.
That's the meltdown reality. The immediate goal is always emotional co-regulation before any cognitive instruction can happen.
You have to be the calm anchor.
You have to be. You can't teach a child math while they're running from a tiger, and an emotional meltdown feels like a tiger chase to them.
So we shouldn't be trying to get them to use their words in that moment.
This is a critical caution from the experts. Don't try to force emotional labeling in the middle of peak dysregulation. For highly sensitive kids, trying to pop their emotional bubble with direct language like, "Are you feeling angry right now?" can actually backfire.
It can feel intrusive.
It can feel intrusive and just escalate the tantrum. It's like throwing a grenade on the play.
So if the learning doesn't happen during the meltdown, when does it happen?
The real learning happens before and after the event, often during a calm conversation or, even better, through play.
Okay, give me an example.
So if your child is constantly melting down over block towers falling, you don't talk about feelings while they're screaming. You wait. Later, you grab their favorite stuffed animal and act it out. Oh no, Mr. Bear built a tower and it fell. He is stomping his fuzzy feet. How can Mr. Bear show his mad feelings without throwing blocks?
You're exploring the emotion inside the safety of a play bubble.
Exactly. It's a practical way to apply EC.
This deep dive is really showing that the gentle part needs to be combined with the firm part. And this brings us back to the classic parenting style research by Diana Baumrind.
Absolutely. The warmth of EC has to be implemented within a clear structural framework. Let's just quickly recap the three styles because the distinction is vital.
Go for it.
First, you have authoritarian parenting. High demands, low responsiveness. Think strict rules, unquestioning compliance.
And that leads to kids with low self-esteem, sometimes aggression.
Then you have the flip side, permissive. Low demands, high responsiveness. They're warm, but there's minimal control or expectation setting.
And those kids struggle with self-regulation.
Significantly. And finally, the gold standard. Authoritative.
Which is the optimal blend.
High demands and high responsiveness. It's firm, consistent boundaries combined with immense warmth and open communication. And this style is consistently shown across cultures to be the most effective.
So if you're a fan of gentle parenting, how do you make sure you stay in that authoritative lane and don't slide into permissiveness?
That's the key question. The effectiveness of gentle parenting is entirely contingent on its structure. When it's done well, with clear communication and consistent boundaries, its outcomes align perfectly with the authoritative style.
But the risk is that gentle becomes a code word for lacking boundaries.
Or fear of conflict, yeah. And gentle parenting without that mindful structure risks collapsing directly into the permissive zone.
So the core principle has to be pairing the two components all the time.
It must be. The philosophy is emotional validation paired with firm boundaries. You say, all feelings are welcome, even if all behaviors aren't, and follow it instantly with, I won't let you hurt me.
You accept the feeling while holding the line on the action.
That's it.
Let's get into some advanced techniques for accountability, because this is where the rubber meets the road. How do we address misbehavior without causing shame? I'm thinking of Janot's framework, distinguishing discipline from punishment.
Yes. Punishment, Janot said, breeds resentment and anger. Discipline, on the other hand, means teaching and guidance. We need to remember the physician's motto here. Primum non nocere, above all, do no damage.
Discipline should be about teaching a skill, not making the child feel fundamentally flawed.
Exactly.
So when a child is pushing boundaries, maybe getting aggressive, we need scripts that hold the limit firmly but without shame.
Think of it as verbal aikido. If a child hits, the intervention is immediate. I won't let you hurt me. My body is not for hitting. You are feeling so angry, and that's a powerful feeling. Let's find another way to show it.
You interrupt, you validate, and you redirect.
All in one motion.
And when we talk about consequences, we should probably clarify the difference between natural and logical, because parents use those terms interchangeably.
They do, and the differentiation is key for you, the listener. Natural consequences are the results that happen without any adult interference.
Like if a child wears a coat inside and gets hot.
That's a natural consequence. Logical consequences, however, require adult implementation, but they have to be predetermined, directly related to the action, and explained ahead of time.
Could you give an example?
Sure. A parent can say, the rule is that toys are put away before dinner. If they're not cleaned up, the logical consequence is that they will be unavailable until tomorrow morning. The critical piece is consistency. If you negotiate or cave, the child learns resistance is effective.
Okay, so what if you, the listener, are dealing with more persistent, complex challenges? Explosive behavior, intense rigidity. That takes us beyond simple consequences, right?
It does. It takes us into an approach called collaborative problem solving, or CPS.
Which is for a pretty wide age range.
Ages 3 to 21. It's the highest fidelity application of the authoritative paradigm for kids with lagging neurocognitive skills. It avoids using power or punishment because those tactics don't teach the underlying skill that's missing.
And it uses a three-step formula called Plan B. Let's use an example, say, a child who explodes every time they have to get off a tablet.
Perfect. Step 1 is the empathy step. The adult starts by neutrally gathering information. I noticed when I said screen time was over, you got really frustrated and threw the tablet. What's up?
You're just listening, no judgment, trying to understand their concern.
Right. Maybe their concern is they lose their progress in the game. Then, step 2 is defining the problem. The adult clarifies their own concern. My concern is that throwing the tablet is dangerous.
So now you have both concerns on the table.
And step 3 is the invitation step. This is where you work together. So, we need a way for you to finish your game without throwing the tablet. What ideas do you have? The goal is building the skill of compromise, not just compliance.
This has been incredibly synthesizing. So, what does this all mean for the learner? Our deep dive really reveals that effective research-backed parenting is, well, it's a dynamic synthesis.
It is. It's the combination of high responsiveness, built through attachment and emotion coaching.
And high demandingness, implemented through consistent boundaries and authoritative guidance.
And if you're feeling overwhelmed by all this, remember the parental imperative. Success hinges on your ability to regulate your own emotions.
You have to be the regulated adult in the room.
Staying calm, avoiding reactivity, being that composed anchor,
Yeah.
that's the most reliable tool you have for co-regulating your child's emotional storms.
And finally, let's circle back to that profound science we mentioned at the start. Our sources highlight a finding that positive responsive maternal behavior is associated with the long-term prediction of adolescent brain structure.
Specifically, a reduced growth trajectory of the right amygdala.
Wow.
What stands out to me is the sheer physical consequence of respectful parenting. The amygdala is the brain's alarm center. It detects threats, it triggers fear and anxiety.
So we're not just managing behavior.
Not at all. Our daily, consistent interactions, that patience, that responsive warmth, that coaching, it may be physically building their neurological resilience. We are quite literally helping to wire their brains to be less anxious and more protected against future internalizing disorders like depression.
That makes every moment of patient discipline feel less about rules and much more about neurological development.
That is a powerful thought for you to carry into your day. Thank you for taking this deep dive with us.